Welcome back into another live edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. We just wrapped up the fall season. Now we're fully going into winter sports, which include basketballs, indoor track, and swimming as well. Swimming heading on the road over to Cleveland State. So good luck to them this week. But we're here to talk about men's Vulcan basketball today, joined as always by Coach Danny Sancomb.
Thanks for having me.
Good having you here, Coach. So it's been quite a busy week. Obviously, you know, we like to shoot the show on either a Monday or Tuesday, but obviously Coach was on the road at Davis and Elkins playing a game there. But we'll take a brief moment to recap last Wednesday when we played Salem, picked up our first win of the season. Solid game all around. I think we were tested a little bit early in that first half. You know, they kept the game close and worked us back down in the second half there, but the team was resilient. We had 5 players in double figures, led by Brent Pegram with 24 points.
Yeah, we played a solid game, I thought, all around. They played a lot of 3-2. I think it took us a little while to get used to it, but when we got used to it, I think we shot the ball well, moved the ball well. I was happy having 5 guys in double figures. I was pleased with our assist to field goals. And overall, we did a good job and beat a team that was 1-0. So we were happy to get that one and get our first win of the season.
Yeah, definitely an interesting test. You're talking about a team that, you know, had only played 1 game prior, so you only have 1 game of film on them, so you're not really knowing what to expect. I think you came in there with a game plan to shut down their player, number 23. I'm slipping my mind currently. And I mean, I think he was held under double digits in that game. Obviously, they had another player kind of go off, but I think the game plan worked to what you expected.
Yeah, their 2 guards are tough, and we wanted to really take the 3 away from 23. He's a really good shooter. And Luke House took the responsibility and did an excellent job, along with his teammates, just helping when he comes off screens and so forth. And overall, you know, our defense with him has slowed it down. And, you know, they had scored, I think, 100 points in their first game, and they scored 71 against us, so we were happy with that.
Yeah, I got the highlights playing here from the game. Obviously, we see we talked about Brent having a big game. Zion Collins kind of getting into a groove. You know, a little tough start to the season for him, but, you know, a season-high 16 points out of him. And then Phil Alexander started off the game pretty strong, hitting a couple corner threes, and then we had Luke House as well with 12 points. And then got really solid minutes from Baba off the bench there. He's played 21 minutes and then grabbed the team high 10 boards.
Yeah, Baba played exceptionally well on the glass. I think he had all 10 rebounds in the first half. Like to get him a few in the second, but he did a really good job controlling the boards in the first half. You know, Brent really sparked us. We were having a little bit of trouble scoring the basketball, and he was able to find some open areas in the zone, and he shot the ball extremely well. And we moved the ball, and we knew he was hot, and he was shot ready and knocked down a lot of threes for us in the first half.
Yeah, talk about being hot. I mean, there was a point in the first half. He made 15 straight points for the team, all from 3-point range. I mean, just had those open looks, and when he was definitely feeling it. That gave the Vulcans a 32-31 lead with about midway through, and then closed the half with an 11-3 run. So strong there, and then came out in the second half and played excellent. Started off with a 13-4 run there. And then Salem ended up working us back down there, got it to about 4 points, and then we closed them out. We made 8 of 14 down the stretch there and made our shots from the line 11 for 13 there to secure the 88-73 win. Coach, also, you know, we talked about them working it down, but what a second half we had, shooting 53.8% from the field.
Yeah, this year, you know, we have a lot of capable scorers, and we usually have 5 guys that can score the ball on the floor at one time, so it makes it a little bit difficult to be guarded. And you know, Salem did a good job because they were playing zone, and then they went man, and that's where they made their run. And it took us a little bit of time to get adjusted to that. We got to do a little bit better job with that. But once we got into a groove, like you said, you know, we finished the half strong and moved the ball around well, and we were able to make shots. It always helps when you make shots.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also 26 points off turnovers. We worked it down well in the paint there. So pick up the first win of the year. You know, obviously we were close in those first couple games. It feels good now to get in the win column. Then we move on to Monday here where we play Davis and Elkins, a team that had been scoring pretty well. You know, didn't really know what to expect coming off a good win against Clarion. You know, going to their place, kind of a true road test for the first time, obviously playing 2 neutral site games, but now actually going on the road to a team starting out the game. Thanks for WCAL coming out, doing the radio call for us there. And, you know, I was down there as well, taking in some action and seeing some family, and we pick up 86-63 victory there in the game. Faced a lot of adversity early in that game. Talk about losing Brent Pegram in the first 5 minutes of the game. So you're losing your natural guard there, and obviously Jermaine Hall out with the ankle injury. So tough test early on in the game.
Very tough. And then, I mean, on top of that, you know, I think Brent picked up his second foul. I don't know if we were 2 minutes in, and then Phil Alexander picked up his second foul, and we may have been 3 minutes in. So we had 4 freshmen and a sophomore out there most of the time. It's really good to have Zion because his versatility and being able to plug him in to any position really and be good. He had 6 assists on the game and only 1 turnover, and did a really good job for us in the first half, playing the point the last 17 minutes of the half, and we were able to get Tim Smith got some good production in the first half. Baba played very, very well getting the start, and Luke House really started the game for us and gave us great minutes throughout the game. But, I think Zion had 9 rebounds and Luke had 9 rebounds, and I think Brent had 2 rebounds. We got 20 rebounds from those 3 guys at our guard position. It really helped us, and it was the first time this year we beat somebody on the boards, and we want to make that a habit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're talking about you talked about 2 players coming right in the verge of a double-double there. We had Luke House, season-high 21 points, definitely, shot 50% from the field, so excellent from him. Obviously trusting him a lot. It kind of seemed like we were drawing up some plays for him to get some looks at the top of the arc there. And then, a good Zion Collins game, a typical Zion Collins game that you saw from last year, really just doing it all. 16 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, just doing it all. And, you relied on him to be the guard for a good chunk of that first half to, something that maybe he's not as used to doing.
Yeah, he's more than capable of it. It's just, Zion's slow start is due to he's got a toe. He's got a turf toe, so he's just not able to practice and get the reps that he needs, and we're trying to manage that and get him some reps, but not too many, so he can obviously play in the game. So we're hoping we can get through this week and get a little bit of break over Thanksgiving, and that toe can get better at that point in time. But he really stepped it up for us in that game, especially in the first half when we had a lot of young guys out there and did a good job with those guys, getting them in position and feeding them the ball, and they did a great job scoring the ball.
Yeah, raced out to an early lead there. I mean, it was an 8-0 run to start the game. It really had Davis and Elkins back on their feet. You were able to build up on that lead to 32-19 late in the first half. So you felt like you were in pretty good control, and Luke House scoring 9 straight points in the first half for the team really helped you build up that lead. Talk about your thought process of, we know we don't have Jermaine Hall starting in that game to put Baba in that role and trust him to do a job.
Yeah, we feel good about it. I mean, Baba is tough. I mean, he gives us a little bit more size and strength, and he's really picking things up, and he's a competitor. I mean, there was a play in the game that he dove on a 50-50 ball and came up with it, and we were able to get an easy basket in transition. I think that just kind of symbolizes who he is. Those tough plays that need to be made, he's willing to make, and he's able to make them. So he gives us a great spark, whether he's starting or coming off the bench. We feel very confident that he's going to be a productive player night in and night out, and we need him to be.
Yeah, definitely. We talk about a guy that first career start for the kid. He had 13 points, the season high 13 points, grabbed 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals in 31 minutes. So, worked a very long portion of the game and did well. I mean, he even took a little hit under the hoop, had a bloody nose for most of the game too. So, I mean, definitely working hard underneath the boards to get there. Strong second half as well. Again, it seems like that's the theme of this team for this year is the shooting in the second half has been almost lights out. 57.1% from the field in the second half. I mean, didn't really give Elkins a chance to really get back into the game and push forward.
Yeah, we were good offensively the entire game. I thought in the first half we had to piece it together because we had some inexperienced guys out there, but the second half when we had our experienced guys out there, we were able to get good shots. I wish our defense would have been better. The first half we gave up 24 points, and I like that. We're going to be tough to beat if we're defending. I think they shot 40%, but the second half we let them shoot 60%, and we just got to keep our focus for 40 minutes and continue to defend like we did in the first half in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a good feeling at the end of the game there, too. I mean, it was good to see that we were able to empty the bench, get the guys that needed rest that are typically playing almost 40 minutes a game, get out there and get some rest. So it was good to see a name like Phil Alston get his first minutes of the season and honestly get 5 points and a rebound in 3 minutes. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Phil's going to be an outstanding player for us. Missing 8.5 weeks, 9 weeks, whatever it is, he's obviously behind, but he gives us another dimension with his rebounding and ability to block shots and finish at the rim. So we're really excited that he's getting acclimated and he's going to continue to get better. But all of our guys, that got in, Nick works extremely hard in practice, and Liam, Zion is coming off a concussion to get those guys some reps. They really compete in practice and do a great job, and it's great to get those guys in there and give them a chance to compete during the games as well.
Yeah, and just one more talking point about the game. I mean, we talked about Brent getting in early foul trouble. and then he comes out resilient in the second half, 18 points for the team. He's made 16 3-pointers this year, which is third in the PSAC, so he's really hitting his shot this year. And then we talked about Luke House. Me and Matt were looking up the stats today, and Luke House is leading the region in minutes for a freshman. It's pretty impressive. And we looked at it as well that from three-point percentage, the Vulcans are shooting 42.5% from range this year, which is tied for second in the region. So excellent shooting all around. And, I think one thing that went underlooked in maybe that game is how well you work the ball down in the paint. I mean, 40 points down low for this team, dealing with backups and everything like that. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think, the word we try to use and we want to be is aggressive, and we want to attack. And we want our guys to be able to get downhill and create. We didn't get to the line a lot, but there wasn't a lot of fouls called in the game either way. Our guys just stayed aggressive. And when we're getting in the lane, most importantly, we're making the right decision, whether we're finishing or we're kicking it out to find somebody or dropping it off to find somebody. We're taking high percentage shots. You don't shoot 57% and a half if you're taking bad shots. And I can't think of one bad shot we took in the second half. We moved the ball around. And obviously, having a fresh Brent, sit for 17, 18 minutes in the first half, his legs are going to be underneath him in the second half. And he had some good looks. And you're right, he's one of the best shooters in our conference, in our region, in the country. When he's open, he's going to make shots. When Luke House is open, they're going to make shots. Phil Alexander, we have a lot of guys that can shoot the ball extremely well. And if we're taking open shots, we're going to make a high percentage of them.
Yeah, Brent there, 7 of 12 from the field in that game, only playing 23 minutes, which is very uncharacteristic of him, but obviously due to foul trouble, wasn't able to get in the game as much. So we're going to take a break here on the Danny Sancomb Show. We're going to look at the basketball standings from last week and heading into this week as we're getting ready to start crossover play, and we'll review the upcoming schedule and preview the games against Lock Haven and Mansfield this weekend. We'll be right back with the Danny Sancomb Show. Welcome back into the Danny Sancomb Show. As we said, we're going to look at the basketball standings here in the West, as it's been just action-filled to start the season. They're up here on the board. Edinburgh at 3-0. Strong win over Robert Wesleyan on the road, 67-65. IUP remains undefeated with a tough game up in Lemoyne, coming back in that game, winning 82-78. So they're battling there. And Mercier is picking up their first loss, playing a tough Damon team, just falling by a couple points there. And Slippery Rock also picking up their second loss of the year against Charleston in a very tightly low-scoring game, 66-58. But Cal moving up on the board there. I mean, we were down at the bottom, but now we got a couple wins and we're moving up. And it seems like it's going to be another really competitive year in the West, wouldn't you say, Coach?
Unbelievable. I think the West is very, very competitive from top to bottom. I think teams really have improved that were on the bottom, and obviously the teams that were at the top last year, I think the ones that graduated just reloaded. But I think it's going to be very competitive, and to win games, you're going to have to play good basketball.
Yeah, and we'll take a quick look at here at the East standings. As we can see, Lock Haven, the team we're facing this week, is undefeated at this point, but we'll look into more of who they've played and what they're going to bring later here in the show. And then a tough Westchester team at 4-0. And East Stroudsburg starting to get it going. They were down there at the beginning, but they're picked as the preseason favorites, and they're starting to rattle off some wins here. So it's going to be a really tight, and Shepherd's even playing well as the new member of the PSAC. So, I mean, it's tight right there at the top. And, it's still early in the year. I mean, teams are playing a lot of different schools, so it's hard to really tell where they're going to be at until we honestly dive more into East and West play, and not even just crossover play. And we'll take a quick look here at the upcoming schedule for the Cal Vulcans to see who we are facing upcoming here as we were getting ready to host our conference opener in crossover play against Lock Haven with CUTV and WCAL on the call. It's going to be a back-to-back day here, and then we're going to go against Mansfield. So two schools making the trip out here this time, CUTV and WCAL on both calls, both starting at 3 right after the women's game. They're They're both playing the same opponent we are, and then like we have been discussing all year, we're going to hit the road for a nice long stretch in December there against Glenville State, Shippensburg, Carlo, and Westchester. So a lot happening here, a lot of games. You know, it was nice having that little break from Wednesday to Monday, and now Monday to Saturday. So the team's, you know, been fresh, the legs are fresh, and ready to really dive into what this season's all about, which is going to be conference play. We're going to take a quick look at the Lock Haven game upcoming here, Coach. A team that's 3-0, you know, it's always a dangerous team, always dangerous playing an undefeated team, so confidence is always high in that case. And Cal has had a lot of success against Lock Haven. I mean, what a matchup it was last year, coming away with a 4-point win there.
Yeah, they're well coached. They're playing good basketball right now. They do a lot of different things, and they do it well. You know, they move the ball well. They've got 3 guys that really can score the basketball. They got a true post player that's really, really good, and their 2 guys on the perimeter are tough matchups. So we're going to have to really defend well if we want to have an opportunity to win. And they're going to play hard. They compete. We saw that last year. We got a little bit of a lead, but they kept chipping away, and we were able to hold on to that. I'm expecting them to come in here with a lot of confidence, being 3-0, and we're going to have to play good basketball to give them their first loss of the season.
Yeah, 12-15 team last year, but playing strong right now, 3-0, and play wins over Cheney, Chestnut Hill, and Carlo this year. So, you know, good wins there, big wins for them, and a very experienced team. Again, it seems like that's been the story of most of this year is, you know, we're playing with a team of 10 freshmen, but we're facing teams that are coming in with very experienced rosters, 4 seniors, 5 juniors. I mean, it's always a tough matchup playing experienced players.
Absolutely. You know, those days are coming for us. We're going to have our days in a few years where we have a junior, senior dominated team. But I like our team, whether they're freshmen, sophomores, juniors. Our guys compete, and I think they're ready to play. We're prepared, and I think they're coming off 2 wins. Their confidence is at a good point. We just got to go out there and execute the game plan and play hard, and we'll have an opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, some of these attributes for Lock Haven's playing well is defensive scoring. They're holding teams to only 54.5 points a game. So low-scoring games have helped them pull away in games. Good defensive rebounding team and good at forcing turnovers as well. And also just spreading the ball around very well, just like, you know, we like to do. They have 4 players that are scoring in double digits every game. So, I mean, Coach, talk about the senior here in Christian Kelly that you're going to be facing this weekend in Lock Haven. He's a second team all PSAC East. So, you know, clearly he's put up numbers in the past, and he's having a great year. He's 3rd in the PSAC in scoring currently.
Tough matchup. He has the ability to play on the perimeter and play the 3. Usually starts at the 3, but plays a lot of the 4 because he's 6'4". He's about 210 pounds. He has the ability to post up. He's got a quick first step. He shoots the ball well. You got to play him straight up. You know, there's not too much you can do. You can't sag off of him and hope he misses because he shoots the ball well. You've got to really dig in and make him miss shots. He's going to be aggressive. He drives to the basket hard, so we've got to work on keeping him in front and just make everything difficult. No easy layups or dunks in transition. You know, no drive-bys where help defenders aren't stepping up. We got to make him work for everything he gets on Saturday.
Yeah, definitely a high percentage shooter. You know, 23 points a game, which is 3rd in our conference, 8.7 boards, and he's shooting 51.1% from the field. So, I mean, yeah, no easy looks for this kid. You know, some of their weaknesses, maybe, Coach, that you're seeing on film or as I've seen in the numbers, I'm more of a numbers guy. You watch more of the film than I do. You know, although they are forcing a lot of turnovers, they are turning over the ball, a little careless with it, and, you know, also struggling from guarding where we're succeeding at is behind the arc and 3-point range.
Yeah, I think, you know, they do some good things. I think for us, you know, transition will be key. We want to be able to get out and get some easy baskets on them. Hopefully we can turn them over because they have turned the ball over. I think this time of year, though, teams' turnovers are a little bit higher because it's early in the year and they're trying to get some things figured out. As you get more games under your belt, you seem to get more comfortable. But I think, you know, we can do that. I think if we play good, solid defense and we communicate well, we'll have an opportunity to be where we want to be in the game.
Yeah, on top of Lock Haven versus Cal on Saturday, other big matchups happening is Shippensburg versus Slippery Rock and East Stroudsburg versus Pitt Johnstown. Talk about the tough matchup there for Pitt Johnstown, but you know those are going to be some great games, and you know it's going to be really interesting to see where everybody lies after this first round of crossover play. So, Coach, let's move into talking about Mansfield. Before we even get into the team, describe what it's like playing 2 teams back to back. What's your mentality for getting ready for both opponents? Are you more of a coach that likes to focus on the first one, or do you have to kind of look at both at the same time?
Yeah, we do both at the same time. Obviously, more of our focus at this point has been on Lock Haven. Tomorrow, we'll get into Mansfield a little bit more. But, you got to play the game first on Saturday. You want to make sure you're ready for that. But, we're very conceptual. So the concepts that we utilize defensively, we're going to use. So whether who we're playing really doesn't matter as much. And defensively or offensively, we're going to run our stuff, and some people will switch it, some people try to fight through it. We'll make that adjustment as they're doing that. So, playing 2 games back-to-back is a little bit different for me from the standpoint we didn't do it in the last league, but you have a whole week to prepare. So I think it's, a good thing, and we'll be ready to play both teams Saturday and Sunday and have a very good idea of what they're going to do, and hopefully we're able to stop what they do and make it difficult on them.
Yeah, typically, a thing of crossover play, playing these back-to-back games. I mean, we're going to be in that situation later on this season. I think against Westchester and Millersville, so that's another tough matchup in itself. But once you get into the West play, it's going to be nice playing the midweek and then the weekend game, a little more time to rest and obviously scout both teams evenly. Coach, let's talk about a Mansfield team that's dealt with a lot of coaching turnover recently, but, this coach is in his second year there. But a team that typically hasn't put up the best record, went 4-24 last year, 1-3 this season, which is a positive, getting a win early in the year. But a team that Cal has had a little bit struggle with over the years. So, what's the game plan heading in today?
Well, we want to be who we are. Their record does indicate they've been in some games and had some opportunities to win basketball games. So we need to be ready to do, what we do. They're a little bit bigger than we are inside. So, pushing tempo will be important against them, and rebounding is going to be very, very important against them. So 2 things that we've been focusing on, 2 things I think we're getting better on, and hopefully that shows on Sunday when we play them.
Yeah, definitely a team with a handful of transfers as well. So a much older roster, kind of like how we were talking with Lock Haven. So experience there. And as you said, Coach, we're dealing with a team that has some size, and Christian Simmons, a forward who's been scoring off the charts here, and then also Trevor English, another tall guy down low. 2 guys that are averaging over 20 points a game. Seems like the offense is really flowing down underneath the hoop.
They do a good job getting the ball into those guys, and those guys demand the ball. They call for it, and those guys really get it into them. So we're going to have to really negate them, maybe push them out a little bit further, make them catch the ball a little bit further away from the basket, make it difficult for them, and put pressure on the passer so they can't make the pass nearly as easy as I've seen them do it this year. So we'll have to work on that tomorrow, and hopefully we'll be able to push them outside a little bit and force them to take more threes than they are taking at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a team that it's kind of looks like Bowie State in terms of wants to work it underneath the hoop, but also a team that is going to rebound very heavily and one of the top leaders in the conference in offensive rebounds currently. So what's it going to take from your guys down low to really, prevent second chances and really box out?
Just toughness. I think it's just going after the basketball and getting it, going and putting our body on them, not letting them get off the ground, carving out space so we can get the basketball and go and get the rebounds with 2 hands and being strong with it is what we'll do on Sunday.
Yeah, a team that's also been very good at the line this season, making plenty of shots there. Definitely don't want to be sending them to the line too often, scoring very often too as well. But some of their weaknesses may be on the defensive side that you've been seeing is, a team that's given up 100 points a game, so they're typically in a lot of track meets. How do you feel your team can doing a game sort of like that?
Yeah, I think their first game was a little bit difficult and could, mess with the numbers a little bit, losing. I think they gave up 125 points the first game, but after that I think they settled down. But yeah, we want to force tempo. I think we have an advantage with quickness against them. I think they have the size advantage, but I think our speed and quickness we can utilize and hurt them in different areas on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, a couple other games to talk about going on that day. Kutztown versus Pitt Johnstown. So talk about 2 tough going East Stroudsburg and Kutztown for Pitt Johnstown. 2 wins that they're really going to need and help them in the conference standings. And then East Stroud is playing IUP, which is going to be a great matchup there as well. Coach, we're going to take another look at the upcoming schedule one more time here as we're getting ready to wrap up the show, just so our fans know when the team is in action this weekend as we look at our game on November 23rd on Saturday. That's against Lock Haven at 3, and then will be streamed by CUTV and WCAL. But we definitely want all the fans to come out and support for this back-to-back doubleheader here to start PSAC Crossover play. These games do count to the overall conference record, so they are very critical to the team, even though they're not West games. And then Sunday against Mansfield at 3 against CUTV with CUTV and WCAL on the call, and then hitting the road for a tough stretch right after Thanksgiving. you'll send the players home to enjoy time with their family, and then they'll be right back at it and getting ready to go against Glenville State on the road there. So I mean, tough stretch there. What are you excited about the holidays, Coach? Describe what it's like for you.
Yeah, I think I always think it's important to give our guys a window to get home over Thanksgiving and be with family and friends. So I know they're excited about it, but we want to take care of business on Saturday and Sunday, and then practice Monday, Tuesday, and give them Wednesday, Thursday off, and back at it Friday, Saturday, and play on Sunday. And I think the rest and going home is always a good thing. And for me to have a little bit of time with my family is always great, and we'll cherish that and have a great Thanksgiving and a great dinner, and be back to work on Friday trying to figure out how we'll beat Glenville.
Yeah, definitely good to refresh the batteries. I mean, we're talking about players that have been here since the beginning of the summer here in like August, so it's good to get home to the family and enjoy some time away and rest up, but always keep your mind focused on we have a season going on, and it's the same thing you're going to deal with when Christmas time comes around as well, sending the guys home and trusting them to obviously stay in shape, stay out of trouble, and just be ready to go once school's back in session. We're going to wrap up the Danny Sancomb show here today. I want to thank Coach again for coming out into the studio today, giving us his time, and it's going to be an exciting weekend. Be sure to go to calvulcans.com if you can't make it out to the game to stream on CUTV and WCAL on the radio call if you happen to be in the car driving around. And it's going to be an exciting weekend, and we'll have full coverage on calvulcans.com for both games. We'll see you next time on the Danny Sancomb Show.